Well, my name is Brian Stratford, and everybody tends to call me Stafford, so I always tell them my name is Stratford, as on Avon. I'm 72 years old, and not that I look it, as you can well see. And I've been working as a volunteer for about four and a half years. The main thing I do as a volunteer is I hold hands in the operating theatre where they do the cataract operations. And the main thing is I do a ward round behind Mr. Dunbar, the surgeon, and I meet them straight away because they're all pretty elderly people and they're very, very frightened, most of them, very apprehensive because they've heard all sorts of things about lasers, and it's frightening. So if I sit and talk to them for a little while, it sort of breaks everything down, and I'll say to the ladies that I'm Brian the volunteer and I'm going to hold your hand during the operation. They all giggle and say I haven't had my hand held by a man for 20 years, and it calms them down. And I say to the men, you know, that I'm going to hold your hand during the operation. They say, well, disappointed, I thought it'd be a blonde. So I always say, well, I've got a blonde wig in the locker which I can put on, but I always say that if I meet you in the street I won't tell anybody that I've held your hand, and they all laugh, and it puts them a bit more at ease, and if they've got any questions that I can answer, I answer them, so that by the time they come out of the anaesthetic room into the theatre, they ask, is Brian here? And I'm there waiting on that, and they're a lot calmer. And so then I hold the hand during the operation. And the main thing about the operation is not just holding the hand, but it's outside communication, because if they get any discomfort, or if they want to cough or sneeze or move suddenly, they have to squeeze my hand first before they do it, and I'll stop Mr. Dunbar, the surgeon, so that they can cough, sneeze or whatever one's doing before we start again, because Mr. Dunbar does work inside the eye while he's doing this, and any sudden movements is not a very good thing. So that's the main thing I do, but the other side is it makes people feel more relaxed, and if they are a little bit worried, or if they're claustrophobic because they have a sterile tent over the head, I talk to them quietly all through the operation, and I just talk about what I've had through, if I've been out for a meal or done things like that. But it takes the mind off it, and it means it's a much easier operation for Mr. Dunbar to do. And then afterwards they go back into the ward and they have a cup of tea and biscuits, and they're on the way home. So, but I've had people send me cakes and things that where they've said they couldn't have probably gone through it without holding my hand, because it is a touch of the outside contact, and as I've said before, they feel as if I'm one of them, more of a patient than a part of the surgical team, so they warm to me a little bit more, and so that is the main thing I do. I also do the help desk. Is we sit at the entrance of the hospital, 2 entrances, and anybody who comes in who doesn't know where to go, we will walk them to the ward or to the clinic or wherever they're going. So I do that as well. But as volunteers for the Friends of St Cross, we also do a tea bar of our own. We also have a library trolley. We do ward visits, and so we do numerous things, as well as we also raise a lot of money, and we've raised somewhere in the region of about 2.6 million pounds, which has all been spent on equipment for the hospital, from beds to whatever. So I get great satisfaction of every side of volunteering, you know, to see the ladies and gentlemen's faces and tell me afterwards, when I see them again to have the second eye done, that how well they can see it. It's made such a difference to their life, and things like, you get great satisfaction out of it. And I mean, you get great satisfaction to even walking somebody who's lost or doesn't know where to go to the clinic or where they're going. I also do tin collecting with money, things. I'd stand outside Tesco's with my tin rattling away, and it makes up a big part of my life now, because my wife died nearly 7 years ago, and I retired at the same time, and I thought, well, I must find something to do. And I remember when I had a hernia operation when I was about 20, in the dark ages, and there was an old gentleman came every night round the ward, and he used to say, can I ring somebody for you, or can I bring in the newspaper, or in those days, of course, can I bring you some cigarettes, because you could smoke in the wards there. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to do. But because the business and that I did, I never had a 9-to-5 job, so therefore I couldn't do that sort of thing. So when Susie died and I was on my own, I thought, well, I'm going to have a go now. So I came down, and as I say, I started on the help desk, and then Martin Kane, the theatre manager, came along and asked if somebody would like to volunteer to work in the operating theatre. I thought I'll have a go, and when I first started, I was one of the first people to work as a volunteer in operating theatre. But you don't have to, as a volunteer, to work in a theatre. You know, if people are not happy with working in theatres, you can work on the T-bar, say for 2 hours one afternoon a month, or as much as you like. But the more people that come along, the more we can do for the patients, and help out with the hospital, to run the hospital more efficiently in this day and age as things are. And so I would say to anybody that's got a bit of spare time, or want to make new friends, because I've made loads of new friends since I've been here. Everybody I work with is now classed as a friend, and it being a smaller hospital, St Cross, everybody knows each other. Everybody speaks, the surgeons speak to you, the cleaners speak to you, the porters. Everybody knows each other, and it's like one big family, and it is very rewarding. And so all I can say, if you've got a little time to spare and find it very rewarding if you do it, do come along and find out how to join our happy little band.